Rut-crazed moose, gorgeous landscapes, and a chance of a lifetime using bows are what bring professional angler Joe Thomas and close friend John Furness to the Yukon this week. It's been a 2-year wait, and now it's time. Watch as the men try and get close enough to one of these giants of nature to get a shot with a bow.
I have always wanted to go to the Yukon and hunt the Alaska Yukon moose. The Yukon's the last frontier. It's one of those places that you dream about when you're reading the magazines when you're a little kid. And finally I'd reached a point in my life where I said, I'm going to do it. And I booked a hunt with Kluane Outfitters in the central part of the Yukon. And they were noted for their float hunts, their river hunts for big Alaska Yukon moose. Our hunt was scheduled for the 3rd week in September, which is the heart of the moose rut. And when my cameraman John Furness and I climbed on that float plane out of Whitehorse, Yukon and headed off into the wilderness, it was just like the whole world was put behind me. We met our guide Mike Olshak right where the Donjak and the Nisling River converged, and there was a big sandbar there, and it was one of those places where the float plane can get in and out easy because the current's really cooking down through there. When I get to my camp, I get in my little cabin and John and I are unpacking our gear, and I roll my sleeping bag out and I look up on the wall right above my bunk, and there's this little note written with a signature. Check this out. Look at this. I want to read this to you. Look right here. Mike Olshak. Okay, just so you know, Mike Olshak, that's my guide, okay? That's my guy I'll be going with tomorrow. Thanks for a great moose hunt. My biggest bull ever. Day 3, 64 inches, September 25th, that'll be tomorrow, 06. And look who wrote that. My hero, Jim Zumbo. Jim Zumbo. Okay, you know what I'm telling you? Jim Zumbo slept right there, Daddy. I'm gonna sleep right where the man himself slept, and tomorrow I'm gonna grab my bow and I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna kill me a big old Yukon moose. It's gonna be great. I'm pumped. I'm so pumped. I can't stand it. The way Mike explained it to me, what we're gonna do is we'll motor 15, 20 miles upriver, looking, calling in the morning, and then get to a high vantage point, do some glassing, and then in the afternoon we're going to drift out nice and slow, just using the motor to control the boat, stopping and calling, so you can cover a lot of ground that way. And to me, that's going to be a really exciting way to hunt moose because we're going to get to see a lot, and hopefully, you know, this is the 25th of September, they should be rutting, and if they're rutting, it should be really, really good. One of the things about a float hunt is you're always at eye level with the moose. Basically, you're floating and you can't really see what's going on. And the willows are really tall. So anytime you can gain a little bit of elevation and glass for those bulls and then be able to put a stalk on them or call them, it's that much better.
I'm really afraid of heights too. Look down here. The plan is this morning they'd seen a really big bull feeding this basin. And so we're up high and we're glassing, and we're going to spend the morning just glassing and calling from this high vantage point. It's totally different than floating that river with the boat, but they felt like this bull was worth it. If we could get an ID on this bull, even if he doesn't respond to the call, we may get a line on him and be able to stalk in on him.
Joe Thomas and John Furness are in the Yukon with Kluane Outfitters in search of a giant bull moose. It's the first day and the sun is rising. Time to head out for the hunt.
Mike had a real concise plan, and basically what we did, we got up at daylight and we jumped in the boat and we jetted all the way up to the upper reaches of the Nisling River. There was an old log jam there that just stopped us. We couldn't go any further. And at that point, we started drifting down. And the whole methodology behind these float moose hunts is that you drift, and if you get a little slough, you ease up into the slough and you call, try and draw the moose to the edge of the willows. And if you can get a vantage point, which we did a couple of times, you get up high where you can glass down and try and pick them out in the willows. But most of your day is just spent drifting along and making calls.
Pretty much what we're doing right now is we're just running these little chutes off the river. It's starting to get late evening. Mike says the bulls will start to get a little more active as it gets later. It's been pretty warm today. It's been like in the 50s, or like 8 degrees Celsius or whatever. I can't figure that whole thing out.
warm.
But it's too warm, yeah. So the bulls will move early, they'll move late. But right now what we're doing is we're just using these little shallow fingers, and we'll go up and we'll call for a little while and pull out and move. It's like hunting 1,400-pound turkeys.
It was about 3 o'clock on that first day, and we were continuing to drift down that river and calling, when it was just like magic. All of a sudden, I look up, and there is this giant bull coming out of the willows, and he's coming for the boat. I mean, we had called him, or Mike had actually called him right to the edge of the willows, and I'm expecting something like a white-tailed deer where they come out, they take a look, and they're gone. Not this boy. He wanted a piece of me, and he wanted it bad.
He's probably closer to 55 than 50.
All these things start going through my mind as Mike beaches the boat. I get my rangefinder out, and the whole time I think this bull's going to bail. He's going to dive into the woods. He's wanting to play. And I hit the rangefinder, and it says 57 yards. So I just tuck it back in my pocket, step over the side with my cameraman, and we started heading towards the bull. And I had my bow over my head just to kind of simulate the antlers. And I counted 17 steps, and bingo, I'm in range. I couldn't believe it. I mean, I made the perfect shot, a pass through, and I'm not even really sure he knew he was hit.
He's dead. Put another one in. He's dead. He's dead.
That's what I came to Yukon for. That is exactly what I came to Yukon. Did you see that? Did you see that? That, my baby.
Way to go, man.
Dude.
First day moose.
First day in the Yukon, and we have called and moved and called and moved, and all of a sudden, there's a 55-inch bull. Yeah!
Can't even verbalize how I felt to kill that big bull with my bow on the first day of the hunt.
I know I came here for a 60-inch bull. That one's going to be somewhere in the low 50s, but I just, when you see an animal doing that, you call one in like that, it's just incredible. And to be able to kill one with a bow and make a clean shot.
Clean shot.
I mean, a perfect shot. And just document it all for everybody at home to see. For me, it was absolutely amazing. I got to thank you once again. I want to thank everybody, all our support crew, everybody that helped us. But most of all, it's just been an incredible experience, and I hope you enjoyed it. Unbelievable, man. Just unbelievable. That's awesome.
I'm 1 day into a 10-day Yukon adventure, and I'm done. But thank goodness I had the forethought to have my cameraman John get a tag. So his hunt was just beginning.
Closed captioning provided by Morel Targets, #1 Eternity Targets.